Hello, my name is Miss Alvarez, and I will be going over the elaborate section of our 5E lesson plan. So I will be sharing my screen here shortly to go ahead and show you that 5E lesson plan. So as we can see here, this is for a second grade classroom. And this lesson plan it will be going over the water cycle. So some essential questions that we want to keep the students engaged in is what is the water cycle? What are the different cycles in the water cycle and what happens in each cycle? So we want to make sure that by the end of the lesson, the students are able to answer those three questions. So for the for this elaborate section, I centered it around more of a virtual activity just because right now we are going through a pandemic. So most of the districts are online at the moment, and most of the classrooms are being held virtually. So we will first start the lesson by watching a short YouTube video. This YouTube video will inform the students about the water cycle. It defines keywords like perception, condensation, elaboration, precipitation, many key words that will be used in their vocabulary. So that the link here provided that will direct you to that YouTube video. So to elaborate more on the water cycle, we will be splitting the students into three breakout groups. This will be held all through Zoom. uh, for the elaborate section, I wanted to break the students out in groups so they can still get that collaboration feeling. Although we're not in a classroom, I still want the students to experience working with each other, experience different perspectives, different ideas, just bounce back from uh, each other's opinions and, delegate roles or just making sure that they learn to be responsible and still get that in classroom aspect of it. So when the students will be broken out into their Zoom, they will be assigned a stage of the water cycle. So previously, the students had gone over each stage of the water cycle uh, and in a more of an explanation. So this, I just really want the students to elaborate more. So the students will be given this document right here. This basically states the evaporation, the condensation, the precipitation, and the collection of water. So so we're gonna explain to the students that A would be here pointing to the sun. So the sun heats up the water, causing evaporation. B would be condensation, and C would be precipitation. So this we will briefly go over, we will briefly elaborate on this document here, but we will mostly be allowing the students to create a PowerPoint. So each group will be assigned a PowerPoint. So the PowerPoint will allow the students to further elaborate their knowledge on their specific stage of the water cycle that was chosen for them. So the students will be interacting with technology. They will be interacting with YouTube videos, and they will also be interacting with their peers. They're still going to be on Zoom while they are doing their PowerPoint. Just because sometimes students do get stuck with technology, something might not be working, and they might have any questions. So they will still be active on Zoom while collaborating with their teams. So as we can see here, the students will be expected to include the following in their PowerPoint. So for the elaboration section, they will have to include in their PowerPoint three facts about their water cycle stage. They will also include what is a what stage or why I'm sorry, why is that specific stage important? Um, what benefits does their particular stage provide? Um, I really, with this next expectation, I really wanted to um, have the students elaborate even further beyond the water cycle. So I want them to elaborate what materials or scientific elements they might find within the stage. So let's say if it were the sun, or evaporation, they would say heat, or uh, what is the sun? It's a planet. I really want them to explore outside of just the water cycle, and I want them to provide an example of their water cycle stage in action. This could be either a video of them um, talking about it, or it could be an example. So let's say the students have a pool in their backyard, and it was a really hot sunny day, and by the end of the day, the student noticed that the pool water had lowered. So that would be an example of evaporation, because the heat heats up the water, causing it to turn into the further stage of condensation. So that I want them to explore and provide real life examples. I want them to um, connect to real world examples, so they can really just go beyond the borders of just elaborating. I want them to fully, invest in what the water cycle truly is, why it is important, and why it's an essential key in our everyday lives. So, like mentioned before, the students will be working in teams by collaborating through Google Slides while still on Zoom. So, after the students have been given enough time to create their PowerPoint, they will present their PowerPoint to the rest of the classroom. So, for this, I really want the students to each present a section of their presentation. I really have high expectations for students, that just because I know that these students can really achieve anything they put their mind to. We just have to be expecting more of them. So I really want to kick this elaborate section of the lesson plan up there. Just give them high expectations, high standards to meet. So after the students are finished elaborating on their stages as a class, I want them to cool down by playing a fun Kahoot game on the water cycle using the following link. So if you click this link, it will take you to this page right here. So this page, the students will press play, and this is just an example, but I will put teach. So we would do this together as a class. Um, so we could either do this as a team mode, since they will already be in teams, or we can also break it down into classics. So this is just a fun way of getting the students excited. You know, just allowing them to have some fun competition. And it also, this Kahoot game also defines the water cycle and tests the students to see if they really truly are learning their stage. Even though this is just a elaborate section, it's still a fun game to have the students interacting in. So this would be my elaborate section, and I really hope you enjoy, and I really hope to see this in the classroom. Thank you.